Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, here's some more Christopher Hill boards. And these are the actual boards created. This particular board doesn't have any date on it. And you can see, again, it's the usual very crude way. This was hand drawn. I don't know how many of these were sold or whether they were used in training seminars or whatever he did with these. I remember it was many, many years back. These are the 1970s. These are, for their time, this was something a little bit cool and special because we didn't have much of anything. But let's take a look at this again. This is just plywood. I'm not sure what they put up in this area. This seems to be an open area here. I'm not sure why this wasn't cut here. Did they do something here? Only the shadow knows. Okay, and as I said, this is just plywood. Okay. And of course, it has this particular chart on it. And so many of his actual charts did have underneath them what we call magnet paper or magnet sheets. Which are these type of things. So this is just magnet, very low level magnet. And of course, then the sheet would go over it. He's done this with many of his stuff. Maybe this was his later stuff. Maybe this was not. And we'll go over this in terms of what. But this does not have that under it. I pried this up here to look at it. And as you can see, is that? Look at that. Is that actually a magnet board again? He's put, well, maybe it is here. Maybe I'm misspoke, which is very typical with Christopher Hill's stuff. A very noted person in his time, lived for a fair amount of time, got struck down by a bizarre virus, was the discoverer of and the producer of spirulina, which is now one of those amazing things out there that claims a lot of benefits that I'm sure it's good stuff for what it is, but it doesn't seem to do much in the bigger picture. I always find that a good Irish whiskey makes me feel a lot better. Okay, so this is an interesting, I like this chart though. Most of his charts I find a little bit confusing and kind of silly to a degree, but back then I'm sure it fitted into his teachings, and of course his book Supersensonic is a classic in the field of dowsing and radionic. So you should try and locate that online somewhere. You know, there's lots of libraries out there where you can borrow books, read them, because you're never going to read a book again. Come on. I had more than 3,000 books, and I probably have now 10,000 or more books in digital form. I ain't going to read those, Mr. Dalen, unless I live to be 190. So the whole idea is that you can certainly find these out there if you try and buy them used. They can be very expensive. They do pop up on ABE and eBay at times to get but you don't have to get the original. It's out there. And of course, if you are a member of Radionic Tech, which you should be, these kind of books can be accessed in our library by members only. And of course, you should be supporting us on Patreon, All Access, and of course, subscribe and like. So, all the things that go with it. But I like this, the Akashic Mindset Monitor. Ooh, sounds important, Dr. Thor. It is very interesting, and let's read this. The guide words on the analyst sheet indicate operative patterns, feelings, or experiences of the subject. The chakra location indicates which chakra area of consciousness are predominantly involved in the negative mindset pattern. Ooh, that sounds complicated. I only got a PhD, Dr. Thor. I'm not sure I could figure that out. Well, it is very poorly written, and of course, so typical of so many things here. So let's give a little vote to that. Oh, yeah, clear as a bomb from sky. Okay, but what does that mean? But actually, this is much more clear forward than most. So what you're going to do, like with all these things, you put your actual witness Of course, back then everything was a blood witness, and I think, it's not a bad idea to go back to that. Use a little drop of blood, and it really has your vibrations in it, but you actually pick up more with the Polaroid because you're picking up the astral effects, the subtle energy bodies. You don't get that much in the blood. So with a picture, particularly a Polaroid, you can do a lot better, and you can get these cameras inexpensively, and you can also use our proper energy disc to pick up more energy and charge these higher. Remember, Polaroids are ugly, but you're not using them for pictures. You're using them for energy. Okay, so right here, and I find this very, very interesting. Let's move over here. Form of mindset manifestation. Again, I find that fairly bad terminology, but the whole idea is you hold your pendulum here, and you want to find out, is it physical, health distortion, mental and emotional, rectified negative mind energy, negative thought forms, social impediments, ignorance, lack of self-awareness, other, and I guess this is for spacemen. So the whole idea is that what you're holding it on here is finding out, well, the problem you have. What is that? What problem? And you'd probably name that. You'd put that here and you say, well, how come I have, let's say, I guess we could say, how come I have an illness? Let's just name something like asthma. What is causing your asthma? Which I don't have, by the way, but the whole idea is, and there's a cure for asthma. If you have it, check out our videos or contact me. Done by a doctor, by the way. And this is the Akashic mindset monitor. I mean, Akashic means, is this something that's getting fed to you? Akashic is a record. I'm not sure that fits either. So these are maybe some of the things that added to this person's death. Okay. Approaches to balance. Now, you want to find out what the problem here is and what is it coming from. So is your asthma coming from, you could call thought forms. This could be an attack. Is it coming from a physical condition? Is it your personal thinking? Is it something coming from outside? Is it just because you're kind of a doofus? Ignorant. Yes, right, Dr. Toll. A lot of people like that. Okay, and of course, what kind of approach do you? What is going to solve that problem? And it's very, very interesting over here. This is the solving the problem. And you hold your pendulum over here, and then it goes this or this or this, or same thing here. So the whole idea is that, what are you supposed to do about that? Which is interesting. Wait, do nothing. Refer to other types of therapy. Supersensonics. Use the Hill system. Rishi, is that a liquid homeopathics? Was that a name brand back then? Maybe his own? Am I getting that camera? Okay, make sure we're going to stop here. Gemstones vibrations, would that help? Spiritual dissonance, traditional homeopathy, psychotronic homeopathy. I like this guy's thinking, and you can see he's an energy person. Creative conflicts. That means finding out who's bothering you and plugging them. Physical manipulation. Psychotronic cell salts. Interesting. You don't see that too much more. Other. Okay. This doesn't have, of course. I guess this is a line here. You don't count it. So what you would do is you would hold this over, and as I said, you would use this way, and you would ask, what's causing and we're just going to let this flow. This is a test. What is causing my asthma? And this is how you're waiting for it to move in a particular direction. You can see it's going right over there. Negative thought forms, which could be you yourself or somebody actually projecting them out there. How would I solve this? So again, you hold it over and I always try and get it going a little bit. You hold it over the center there, and then let's see where it moves. How can I cure these negative thought patterns, thought forms? It's moving. Well, you cure it with the Supersensonic's Hill system. And I didn't, and I just let that go there. I don't know if you can see that well, but let me fix my little pendulum here. By the way, this is a pendulum you can purchase from us. We find this to be the best out there right now. But, you need to have different pendulums. I have a course on this. It'll be coming out soon. But how can I actually, what should I use to cure this thought form problem? And it's interesting. It goes right back to where it did before. And you can see how it's moving over Supersensonic's Hill system. So I kind of like this. I think this is a cool chart, and I think this can be very practical, unlike some of the other things there, which I don't fully understand what he's trying to get at. They're unclear. They're kind of a pain. This is really cool. So we are reprinting all of these for very low cost. Every chart you've seen me have here for a very low cost. You can print them out. Use them just on the paper there. If you can print them out, you can print them out as many times as you want, once you have the file. And if you really want to go crazy, you could I use laminating. So I just laminate everything and keep the chart that way if you're going to use it often. Or you can just print it out every time you need it. So let's go over this yet again in terms of, so this exact chart you'll be able to print out because it's hard to get it from any kind of media like this. So let's open this up here as we can cut around the edges here. But I've scanned this already, but let me check it just to checky. We can kind of release this page itself. I'll probably scan this by itself as well. So we have removed that. Now, I started off with this thinking that this was just painted. It's not. This is actually the typical Christopher Hill's, what he uses on underneath all of his pendulum charts. And, this is a professional. You've got to give him some credit. He did this for years. He was a master dowser boy. Now, the wood itself underneath doesn't matter, but putting it on wood is better than using plastic in general. Plastic is not negative or harmful. Basically, it's petroleum, which is a carbon, and it's not really a bad thing. I used to hate plastic. But the bottom line is that wood itself is kind of neutral, but it is a certain conductor as well. Wood has actually water in it, so it will conduct a certain amount of energy. But what appears to be here is the classic Christopher Hill foundation for his plates. Now, we had one that didn't have this. Now, I don't know if that was just a quickie mistake or it was deliberate for that particular dowsing plate. But I'm not going to pull this up anymore. I may keep this for my own plate. Looks like he made a few of these sheets here. But this is magnetic sheet again. You see all that I'm pulling up here? Just make sure everybody's got everything clear. There's nothing underneath it. This is just standard magnetic sheet, as I call it. You can get this very inexpensive pretty much anywhere. I think most of the home clubs have them now. You can get it at a home club. You can certainly get this online. You can buy sheets of it, rolls of it. And this is magnetic. I think it's not very strong. Let's see if even the weakest thing can be grabbed. It's not very strong, and that's what you want. If you have strong magnetics, you have a problem. Okay, because it's going to interfere with your readings. see if well, I'm not sure how much magnetic metal that is, but these are very low magnets. So you don't use something like this, a magnetic sheet like this, that is going to hold much of anything. They have stronger ones now. A lot of refrigerator magnets are printed on this, and then you can put it on your refrigerator, and they just barely stay up there. So you're talking about very low magnetic field there. You're not talking about getting strong magnet. You don't want it. Strong magnet. But all of his charts, or I should say 90% of them, had it. Now, the chart we just showed recently, which was the pi ray chart, the fundamental ray chart, I should say, this does not have anything in it. This is not a magnetic. There's no magnetism on this at all. Let me double check that. No, it's just a nice little piece of wood. But most of his other ones did, as we showed you with the other... with his spectrum monitor, again, he's got this magnetic plate here. And several of his other ones have the same magnetic stuff on it as well. So he did consider that to be important to use. And again, he likes to face magnetic north. When he does things. This comes a lot from his pyramid research that he did in the past. Certainly that can't hurt either, even though I don't think this one, did this one say that? No. This one didn't say face. This one didn't say face magnetic north, but oftentimes, if you can do that, that's not a problem. I'm not sure how much of a necessity it is either, unless he really states that, like he did state on the Ray one, that you're supposed to position it that way. And again, he's used many different types of woods. This is just your standard, very strong plywood. I'm not sure why you would use that either. It's heavy, it's very strong. You certainly don't need plywood for something like this. There's no intrinsic value in this wood or regular pine. Woods in general are neutral and kind of nice to use and easy to work on. I mean, you can drill through them. You can attach things through them easily, which you can't do with metals and even plastics as easily. So there is a benefit to using wood if you're doing that, or even... I don't know, some of them even had hang-up things on, but it seemed to me that what was used here with his plates were anything that was available or inexpensive at the time. There doesn't seem to be anything overly special. They're not cut overly special to fit. It depends. I don't know if this last one here, which was one of their ones that were made kind of the best, this is kind of proportioned right. This is just pine, stained pine. This was probably purchased... regular non-stained pine. He did that, put this in the center of it, and I guess they wanted to get it thick so they could put this actually in it. You can go watch that video on that to get more information, which should be interesting to you. But yes, I mean, that's something to note. If you're going to be using his pendulums, charts, and we do recommend you use our pendulum. Again, you can get this online. This is very specially made. It has the nice little point at the bottom, which a lot of people like. But the most important thing with a pendulum is to make sure you've got a round spot to pick it up. So those are very beautiful pendulums. They also come with courses of how to use pendulums in general. That is fantastic. But he's always using this magnetic sheeting. And there's a reason for it. So generally, I would make something like this, get some magnetic sheet. You can just roll that up or just keep it like that, or you can attach it or glue it to a board. And then you can have something that is that he considers important, and you may be able to get more or better information that by having a magnetic point like this and placing something on top of it, you're creating kind of a neutral and sacred space. You're getting rid of the negative energies there. You're creating your own little magnetic energy to block other things. So don't underestimate these little things. We're dealing with energies here that are not common, and people that think that everything has to be some sort of electrocution or something super strong. Well, it's just not true. A lot of that is upsetting. A lot of those kind of energies are unbalancing. So it's the subtle stuff that you want. Subtle energy physics is where it's all at, people. Check my course out on that. Make sure you like, subscribe and support us on Patreon, and of course, all access to get the latest and greatest. These things are very rare. You'll never see this anywhere else. And of course, I purchase these, and everything requires money. Nothing is free. So do keep all that in mind, and I hope you'd enjoyed this. Any questions, look down below here, and you'll find my link to where you can purchase all of these printouts for a few dollars, and you can print them out. It's in a PDF. Then you can download it, print it out, and use them as you wish for anything you want, and you can continue. Only once you get the file, you can print them out as much as you want, try different things, etc., etc. That's what's life all about. Remember, everything's very individualistic. These are bio-based energies. So how well you use a pendulum, how well you integrate with these energies is based in your bio-consciousness, ultimately. Some people are marvels at it. Other people can't figure out what their name is. Unfortunately, you just have to find out what works best for yourself. But isn't that what all life is about? Some people go to school and become engineers in mathematics. Other people learn how to make something, fix cars, become gardeners, all the stuff we are essential in our lives. So you're good at one thing and not at another. That's the way it is. Most people can develop a talent to a degree. You can never become a master, maybe not even an expert, but you can competently use most things out there that people are involved in with a little trying. It depends upon your own psychological blockages. But do remember, all of these things are developed over time, and we all need to understand how to potentially empower everything out there so that we can have things work well for us. So hopefully you've enjoyed that, and more to come.